Good evening, folks. This is Bob from BBD on Saturday the 29th with some news and views as usual. I'm not sure how many of you saw the Trump speech, acceptance speech at the Republican convention when you actually are absolutely dumbstruck with how we've moved from half-truths to half-lies to complete falsehoods. Unbelievable, but the vote bank just won't change, and this era of social media is just so destructive. You obviously know this kind of is in play in lots of the parts of the world. Russia is very parsimonious with its information to its citizens. China, of course, is a complete lockdown. It's made itself way insidiously into India's media and its subservience to current powers as this, but it can be very destructive. If the government is not going to be open about its information, then most of the times it's going to be a lot more trouble for the government than for anything else. It's like Ravi Joshi reports lies at state policy. The two incidents he narrates, and which are about two narrates, and third one which is unfolding. The first one is about the fact that in Parliament, the most senior, most functionary of the party told the Parliament that the Lok Sabha that Sheikh Abdullah was not under house arrest, and nothing could have been further from the truth. How can anybody say that, and then nobody even question it? The second, obviously, was the incident where the PM made a speech to the opposition where he claimed that no one has intruded into our territory, nor has any of our posts been captured. And this is after 20 of our soldiers were killed. And basically, if you put the 20 soldiers killed and you saw his statement, the immediate conclusion was that we were in the wrong. The Chinese obviously picked up on it because they've they've just basically stuck where they are, and they've said that disengagement is complete. So basically, they're just proving this is what the Prime Minister said that time has been proven as a prophecy. What is unfolding now is absolute lack of information on the economy and the dire straits, right? And it's eventually going to hit us really, really hard. The other thing that's unfolding is while we're seeing the COVID just gallop away, it's in the middle pages. Times of India barely reports it, but you can't expect anything more from that publication. The important part to note is we really need to know the number of tests by state. It's no point saying that we've done 1 lakh, 1 crore tests. We need to know whether Gujarat is testing. We need to know whether Uttar Pradesh is testing. We already know how many tests are happening in Delhi. We all know that. But none of these reports are reporting on how many tests in Maharashtra, how many tests in West Bengal, because the number of tests and then the positives are what is a critical factor. Not otherwise, you really can't tell where you're going and which state is eventually going to blow up. This was really disconcerting, where this report where it says can't pay GST dues center to the states. So this is a real let me down for the states. You first, Arun Jaitley forced the states into this, what we thought was a great move for the federal structure for this country. But within a few years, I'm not sure whether it's a nail in the coffin, but this is extremely worrying for the federal structure for this country. We know the economic situation is bad, but if the state is holding on to, if the center is holding on to a lot more, it actually, while the fight is being led by the states, I think this is doing disservice to all the chief ministers. We're not just talking about the opposition chief ministers. Every chief minister out there is being shortchanged by this particular scenario that we have. And the worry is that as we go along, you have this news where it says Jai Shankar takes a dig at Pakistan, Jai Shankar rejects UPA policy in Pakistan, Jai Shankar attacks Pakistan for sheltering. So, obviously, to keep China under wraps, the two favorite topics are back in play. Pakistan and terrorism is number one. The point here that why I'm bringing this up is, I'm convinced that China and Pakistan are hand in hand, hand in glove with terrorism not only in Jammu and Kashmir, but all over across India, especially the northeast. There is enough evidence to suggest arms are coming from China. They come in through Bangladesh. Then they spread these arms in the northeast. Look at this. You know, we go to town about Dawood Ibrahim being sheltered in Pakistan, but we don't say anything about Paresh Barua, the head of Alpha, which we know is getting sanctuary in China. I mean, what is it? I mean, when are we going to get up and show our spine as far as this is concerned? You know, these are all things that hurt us. Now, obviously, as China is being kept under wraps, the economy is being kept under wraps, COVID is not making its way forward. You're again seeing this insidious, firstly, Pakistan bashing back again, and then there is this report, surprisingly, in the publications in the south, which is the Deccan Herald, says religious sentiments hurt. Assam police bans TV serial for 2 months. There's apparently a TV serial in Assam, which is again about a Hindu and a Muslim woman, and it's again been linked to love jihad. And again a report again in the same publication, Deccan Herald, says Yogi asked UP officials to stop love jihad as police say cases rising. Are we going down the same slippery slope just to keep China under wraps? I don't know. This is kind of sad. Lots of personal stuff is going to be falling apart shortly, and I hope our Ministry of External Affairs is up to it. The first one is Abe, our Japan's longest-serving PM, who actually was instrumental in getting India and Japan ties to where they are, has resigned. So India is going to have to do a lot of song and dancing with Japan in the next level to ensure that that relationship continues. It won't do really to talk about saying that, you know, but the relationship is on even keel. Sometimes when the relationships are based on personalities, a lot more work needs to be done. You have Yashant Raj says really funnily that 2020 is special for Indian Americans and US politics. You obviously see that everywhere at this point in time. You have Kamala Harris that has come out about India and Biden and Kamala Harris in India. Suddenly Trump has said that, you know, Indians are on his side, and you've got Nikki Haley, who till now was trying to scrub the Indianness out of her skin and soul, is suddenly back saying she's fully Indian and actually for the first time taking ownership of her parents, etc., etc., etc. Here, what is important to note is something that with Paul. Interview with Paul Stanland, and this is something that our US Embassy should be very, and the ambassadors should be very careful. He says, if the Senate also turns Democratic and the House stays under Democratic control, then there will be vastly more space for ambitious policies than if the Republicans retain control. Interested Indian observers should definitely pay attention to trends in close Senate races, especially if it looks like Biden is going to win. This is something that we have to be on our toes, folks, and I've said this before too. Here there is an article which says PM, India to be reliable arms supplier to friends. I mean, first let's start producing arms, right? Then we can supply them, right? And thirdly, let's show some intention by sending the BrahMos to Indonesia first. I mean, these statements are really good, but without actual action on the ground, it means nothing. You have a plan here. Government plans to raise 5,020 crores via 15% stake sale in HAL. You have a report here which says Britain may have half fighter jet purchases, which says Britain could buy only half its target of 138 F-35 Lightning II fighter jets. I put this together. I suggest India, the government does a strategic sale of HAL, forget this 15% and all that stuff, to Boeing, and becomes a part of the F-35 supply chain. That is, in my view, because Turkey is shortly going to get replaced, India should put itself in that place, pride of place, and India will definitely get a leg up in made in India dreams in the defense platforms. It is something for which the time has come, especially when Hindustan Aeronautics was a private sector enterprise before it was made a public, but before it was nationalized. So by Nehru after post-independence. Now a little bit of economics. It's very interesting. In the Wall Street Journal, how did the UK restart its restaurant industry? Ask how. In restaurant industry is dead and gone here too. By paying half the check. Essentially, you need to create demand. This is where we've missed a trick in India. The government must get off its sitting on a fence and understand that without demand, there is going to be no economic effort. Interesting thing, government sets ball rolling on HLL biotech sell-off just about the right time when vaccines are going to be major play. I think this is important that this is sold off immediately. What is amazing is I never knew Maharashtra farmers seek ban on onion seed exports. Amazing. Indian onions are some of the best in the world. I know riots that have happened in Malaysia in the 60s and early 70s when the Indian onions were banned by by Mahathir to teach the Indians there a lesson. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. So this is important to note right now, is that obviously we must control the seeds. Then we have another report, world's biggest bike maker confronts boom time. And where is this bike maker? In Taiwan. Let's get him, let some of our bigger bicycling companies do a joint venture with them. We can become a huge supply chain for this company.